Hello, welcome to video training. We'll be covering accounts payable, chapter 3, reversing payment. In the main menu, select accounts payable. You'll notice an option here, Backout Payment. Let's select Backout Payment. Okay, we can do various options here. What this is asking me is it's saying, okay, tell me the check number that you want to back out. I can look the check number up by hitting the Enter key and typing the check number that I know that I want to reverse, which is this one right here. If I like to reverse this, and this is one way to do it, I can hit, okay, that's the check. I want to back it out. I made a mistake for some reason or another. It's a check. If I hit back out payment, F2, this will reverse this payment. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to reverse everything. It's going to go out to my system. It's going to, the bills that I used to pay, it's going to now say that they're due again using the exact same due date. It'll actually reverse it from general ledger. So now it's saying, what about the check? It's going to go out to your check file and it's going to do one of two things. If I say void check, check number may not be used. Maybe I wrote the check wrong. Maybe the check got ripped up. I don't want to use that check number. I want to void it. Or maybe I just made a mistake. I typed in the wrong check number. I want to delete that check, so it may be reused again. So these are two options that you can do or not. Obviously, one is going to void that check. The check can never be reused. It'll show up in my check history file. When I reconcile my bank account, it will say that it's a voided check. This here will actually allow me to use that check for something else. Back out has been done. Okay, so we've backed out that payment. Now, another way to back out the payment, maybe you don't remember what the checking account number is. Maybe you don't so you can do what we call a lookup. Now, when you do a lookup in the check file, it's similar to all our lookups. Obviously, we give you various different options. Keyword, by name, check number, by date. What do you want to look up? Right now, I'm only looking at checks, all banks. I'm starting with bank 0, and I'll go on to all my banks. If I want to just see auto deductions, I would select auto deduction, but I have to select what order I want to see it in. So if I select name, well, I have one auto deduction. Auto deduction will always have a check number that starts with 900,000. If I want to see cash, I have to select the order that I want to see it. I have two. Now, cash and credit cards are going to be listed together. How you can tell the difference, 88 is a cash. We paid that bill via cash, $200. This one here was paid by credit card. We obviously still owe the credit card company $220. But this is paid by credit card. 88 is always all cash payments. 89 is all credit card payments. Now, so I can reverse a cash payment, I can reverse an auto deduction, or I can reverse a check. If you find the check you want to reverse, obviously you can look up any check you wish. Hit back out payment, void it. It's now been backed out. Now notice what it says there. When you're backing out payments, we recommend that you age the receivables after. So anytime you're backing out payments and voiding payments, you always should do an aging. Now, one other thing we want to go over. Now, on this screen, obviously, you can do next, next, next. You can change things. You can go backwards and forwards. You can do a lookup, as we talked about. But you also can void a check that you have not used. And what that means is, and why you would want to do that, is this is backing out a payment. I posted the payment. I put it into my system. I said I paid a bunch of bills. I want to make it go away. I made a mistake. This is something where it happens occasionally, where maybe you lost 2 or 3 checks. Maybe checks got destroyed. You looked at the checks, they weren't printed right. They got ripped up by the printer. But you want to account for every single check number. So when you reconcile your bank statement at the end of the month, you want to account for every single number, even though you know those checks are never going to be used. They were destroyed. But I want to put in the system that these checks were destroyed, and that's why we're missing them. So a year from now, somebody's going to say, well, why are we missing 3 checks? So if in fact that happens, you'd click void. You would click the checking account that applies to. You would type in a check number. You would type in the date, and you would type in the description why you're doing this. Maybe it was lost. And you're going to hit Add New Void Check. Now that check is now void. If I made a mistake and I said, oh, wait a minute, I don't really want to do that. I just found the check. I lost them. Now I found them a week later. Well, I can look up these checks, and now I can delete the void check and say, oh, nope, I found it. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to delete it. And now we can use that check. So whether you want to make it so that you can't use it, or you want to make it so once you put it in, if you did find it, then you can go either way. So this is used there again. The purpose of this is if that you lose a check or you have a check that was destroyed and you know you're not going to use it, you can account for the number. So when you run reports, you're not going to be just missing a check. It's going to say why you didn't use that check. Hey, we lost it. Okay, so you know how to back out payments. You know how to void checks. Let's move on. End of month procedure will explain how you age your payables.